am Ed Fry, sometimes known as Nufishta Fry, and you'll soon understand the reasons for the nickname. I want to introduce you to a new therapeutic technique that I've developed for myself over the past 6 years or so, and that has enabled me to get rid of aches and pains and stress, and to literally straighten my spine and rejuvenate my whole body. You don't need any doctor or therapist or medicine of any kind. All you need to do is get into a pool of warm water, preferably about 4 feet deep, set your body into a very particular position, and start moving in very particular ways. Before I get into the details, though, let me tell you first a little bit about why and how I came to discover this process. I was born with a slightly twisted spine, a condition that doctors call scoliosis. It's a fairly common condition. And then, as a kind of long and lanky teenager, I was pretty careless about my body, and I hurt my back in a long series of bicycle accidents, sandlot football games, fist fights, etc. Once, when I was about 13 years old, I got beat up so badly that I could not even stand up. Lucky for me, my friend's father was nearby, and he picked me up and drove me to a chiropractor's office. The chiropractor carefully manipulated my spine to the point where I could stand up and walk out of his office. And ever since then, I've been a believer in chiropractic therapy. But I was never too good at sports, not as good as I thought I should be. And by the time I got to be, 30 years old or so, I was stiff a lot of the time and suffered a considerable amount of back pain. Eventually, I was also told I had a spinal disc that was bulging and slipping slowly out of place. And I had a lot of knee pain, too. All caused by this spinal misalignment. The upshot was that I needed a chiropractor to adjust my spine most of the time as an adult. And he had to not only adjust the spine, but try to get the internal forces and the muscles and the connective tissue back into balance. But what usually happened is that I would visit the chiropractor. He would have me lie down on a table. He would give me put me into a certain position, a particular configuration of spine and limbs and head, and then apply a force that would make my vertebra go crack. And they call that an adjustment. And I'd go back home feeling better. But then, after a short time, a day, 3 days, a week later, my spine would slump back into the old position of misalignment. And sooner or later, I had to go back to the chiropractor. All my life, I was pretty frustrated that my body just could not retain a proper alignment. Even though I was under a chiropractor's care, I could never build up enough muscle or core strength that I wanted to. And more often than not, I was feeling a lot of pain and stiffness. And that, in turn, caused me to have considerable amount of stress. Then, about 7 years ago, my chiropractor, Dr. Jeffrey Levine, announced to me one day that he could not help me anymore. He said, "Ed, you have the stiffest back I have ever worked on, and I'm afraid that if I try to loosen you up any more up here, you're going to be too unstable down below, and then vice versa. So you are pretty much done with chiropractic therapy." Well, that was really bad news for a geezer like me. I mean, I was 63 years old at the time. So I started thinking and looking for a new way to at least alleviate the pain. And then I remembered that I always used to feel good whenever I went swimming. So I started doing a few laps at the local public pool. That was good for temporary relief, but the pain and the stiffness still kept coming back. I was a pretty lazy swimmer, so a lot of times in between laps I would just rest with my back up against the wall of the pool and put my hands up on the edge of the pool with most of my body still under the water, and I would stretch and twist. Pretty soon, I started to sense that I could possibly manipulate my spine and other parts of my body that were underwater in ways that seemed really similar to what a chiropractor does. Finally, one day I got up out of the lap pool, went over to the warm water pool, and started exploring these possibilities. About 2 years ago, I met another chiropractor, Dr. Krista Alanji, at a social event. And I started telling her about my new technique. Then she told me that she was a sports chiropractor and massage therapist, and that she uses a lot of muscle and every day treating her patients. And as a result, she had this nagging pain across the back of her, top of her back. And when she had other chiropractors and massage therapists work on it, it didn't help. So I invited her into the water with me to try my technique, and she did. She came in, she tried it, and poof, the next day her pain was gone. So she and I ended up making a short little DVD together in about the fall of 2008, and I'm going to show you excerpts of that now.
Hello, I'm Dr. Krista Marie Alanji. I'm a sports chiropractor specializing in longevity, fitness, and functionality. That is how well we function later on in our years. Our self-directed movements create core muscle, tendon, and ligament stability, and are easy and relaxingly done in the comfort of a warm pool. Recommended 4 to 5 feet deep, approximately 90 to 97 degrees Fahrenheit. All movements must be made gently but firmly. The benefits are 1. Reduced stress, 2. Reduced pain, 3. Building strength, 4. Building elasticity and flexibility, and 5. Repairing soft tissues. This is a unique, personalized regimen of motion that helps you heal yourself. This movement is more restorative than any other.
I found that I could become my own chiropractor in essence, because I was, when a chiropractor makes the adjustment to you, you hear this crack, it's like cracking your knuckles. There we go. Well, you can do that all over your own body if it needs to be done, wherever it needs to be done.